Alright everybody, it's Saturday morning and we're going to have a brief look here at my native tank. Yesterday afternoon I made a very impulsive addition to this tank. I'm not going to tell you what it is just yet, I'm going to let that be a surprise. But it is a predatory fish and it is a very aggressive fish. It's not very big at the moment, however. And I've been thinking about going out collecting some more stuff here over the last few days. I'm getting really low on crayfish. The crayfish are absolutely brutal. They duke it out and fight for space, and they kill and eat each other. And I'm getting down to very few, and my big one's even gone, as far as I can tell. This one here is about the biggest one I've got left in the tank, and that's nowhere near the size of the really big one I used to have. So I'm not sure who killed who or what was going on. It's quite possible. When I saw that sloughed shell not long ago, the big one is the one that sloughed, and it doesn't really matter how big they are. When they slough, they're basically just soft meat, and I don't know. So we're probably going to go out and add some more crayfish, and I'm trying to decide whether I want to go out to one of the local streams or, you know, the reservoir or something like that, versus right down the street to my local stream where I normally get stock. Maybe we can find something different, because I realized this morning with this predatory fish I've put in here, and I'm still hoping we're going to get a glimpse of it. It was just darting and dashing around the tank a minute ago. That's why I grabbed my camera, and now it's lying low again. Of course, it is a wild caught fish. With me walking up and my voice booming at the tank, it's probably terrified right now. So as time goes on, it'll get more and more used to me, and it'll be a quite outgoing and very aggressive fish here in the very near future. In the meantime, it's not going to eat pellets or, you know, flakes or something like that. And being that it's a predatory fish, I'm going to have to find some stuff for it to eat. So I need to go out, I need to catch some small crayfish, I need to catch some maybe some gambusia, some mosquito fish or gambusia. They're wild cousins to the guppies, I guess you could call them. And we've got them around here by the bucket loads. So I can go out with my little dip net and we can scoop up a little something to go in this tank. And again, I'm just hoping I can get some video of this fish as a teaser before we go. If not, it's going to be a real teaser, because you're not even going to get a glimpse of it. I will say that my little warmouth in there can definitely tell there's a new predatory fish in the neighborhood, and he seems to be lying low since everything's gone in there. Of course, anytime you make an addition to a tank, it always changes the dynamics of what's going on in the tank. You can see how everybody's kind of laying low. Even this tilapia is just sort of sitting here. The tilapia is normally very aggressive. There we are. There's a little guest appearance. Alright, I'm sure some of you recognize that, and some of you probably don't. So we'll identify it later, but right now let's head on down to the stream. And wow, apparently when I put the fish in the tank yesterday with the dip net, I must have actually gotten one of another fish caught in the dip net and put it back in the bucket. So let me go ahead and get that out of here, and we'll put that back in the tank where it should have been. So that's been swimming around in that bucket since yesterday evening. So we're going to go ahead and get that taken care of. Oops, my bad. And then we're going to go down somewhere, I don't know where, but just sit tight, wait, and we will see. Alright everybody, it's now Sunday morning, the day after we started this video. Turned out to be a really rainy, nasty day yesterday and most of the night. So I got up fairly early this morning and I went out to a place I know to try to collect some minnows and stuff, and it just wasn't very scenic. It didn't make for a very good video. I wound up just scrabbling around in some muddy water, and I wound up catching some minnows. So I got them sitting home in a bucket. It's not even 10 o'clock in the morning. It is hot and humid. I'm already all sweaty and gross. So I haven't even turned my fish on yet this morning. The lights are still off. So we're going to head right down here, down the street just a little bit, to my local stream, the stream that flows across the street from my house. We're going to throw out my minnow trap, and I've brought my net and a bait bucket, and we're going to see if we can at least catch some crayfish or something else to go in the trap or go into the tank. What I've got now is going to serve as some food. It's all a bunch of small minnows. I did catch 2 small sunfish, and I caught 2 or 3 very small, I believe them to be sculpins. So we'll see how that plays out. I don't think they're going to last very long in the tank, but the minnows were really shiny and pretty. I'm not sure what they were, but they had beautiful colors on them. Almost seems like a shame that they're going to be food, but alas, they're going to be food. So I need to just get parked, and then we're going to hop out right here, and I'll see you in just a minute. Alright, we're going to start with the minnow trap. And for those of you that are familiar with this kind of minnow trap, most people just throw their bait right inside. I actually hang mine in a little cage, and it prevents everything from crawling in there and just devouring it, and it tends to last a little longer. Today we're using a piece of cheddar cheese for bait. So let's get this unrolled and thrown out there. Well, it looks like somebody was already out here cleaning fish. I don't know if you can see those big white spots in the water. Those are big chunks of cut up. There's some more down there that have floated downstream. People clean their fish and then they just throw the scraps out here. So let's come over here and get this tied on. And we'll leave that. Now we're going to walk down here, see if we can't catch a few small crayfish or something. For those of you who have come out with me before, you'll know that these nets tend to get destroyed very easily, especially around here and here, if you use them to sort of scoop and scrape the rocks. Oh boy, I can smell those dead fish. Lovely. You wind up tearing and destroying this net very easily. I actually destroyed this completely. This from here to here was completely open, and it just fell out on my first use. Now they only cost about $5, but if you want to repair them very easily, get yourself some braided fishing line. This is 50-pound test. You get a big thick needle, you sew it back on there. That braided fishing line is incredibly tough and durable. So if you ever need to sew something together with virtually indestructible thread, get yourself some braided fishing line. You'll be amazed at how strong it is. Well, that's just a piece of bark floating right there. I thought that was more dead fish, but that's nothing to worry about. It's amazing that dead fish down there in the bottom, and I can actually smell it all the way up here. Alright, so this is usually the area where I can catch the crayfish, but keep in mind we had bad storms last night and yesterday, and the water is actually kind of high this morning and a little more volume moving here through here than I'm used to, so I don't know how well we're going to do or not. And so far I'm not seeing anything. Just try coming out here and doing a random swipe through the deeper area and seeing if I can't just pull something out. Nothing. I didn't even see any minnows darting and dashing away from me. So far I haven't seen anything this morning. This tree's new. Not sure where that came from. Well, I gotta say, this water feels really good. I am wearing waders, but I've got shorts on under my waders, so I'm basically just wearing a little thin piece of nylon between my legs and the water. There are some minnows swimming around down there, and I just caught one. See if I can't take another swipe and catch another one. Nope, but I did get one, so let's walk that back over. Put it in the net. I'm really here to catch crayfish. We've got plenty of minnows in the tank. And I was honestly looking at it yesterday, and some of those minnows in there are already small enough that our mystery fish could eat them if it needed to. So I'm not concerned about it starving, especially since the fish isn't going to starve in a matter of a day or two. And then, of course, the fish we caught this morning at that other place I was telling you about will certainly serve as food. So now I just want some crayfish to add some interest to the tank, but it looks like today's not going to work out simply because of what I was saying. The water's just too high, too much disturbance yesterday. So we'll give it a day or two. We'll let the new fish settle in. We'll get all that stuff taken care of anyway. And then we'll come down here in another few days and we'll do another one of these videos if you'd like. And we will see about standing upright. We'll see about catching some crayfish and adding them to the tank. So I'm gonna hit it. I got a short little drive back up the house. Alright, so here we are, Sunday morning. We're back from the stream. We're gonna come in here and we're gonna get the lights turned on. Still got my mess from last night that I never finished cleaning up. But for now, we're not going to worry about the other tanks. We're just going to flip this switch under here that gets the native tank lit up. And we're going to come over here and see if there isn't anything to see first thing in the morning. So here's our little mystery fish hiding down in the corner, looking like an evil brute. And this is what we caught. That one big fish you see swimming around in there is the one we just caught down the stream, and then all those other little ones are from the other place we went this morning that I didn't include any video from because it just wasn't very good video. We've got 2 or 3 small sunfish in there, I mean like the size of a nickel, and then we've got a couple of little tiny sculpins in there as well. I know it's not coming out, it's kind of grainy right now, but if you see this little guy right there laying on the bottom, and there's a couple other that are real sort of pointy in the nose and they're just lying on the bottom, and those I believe, see there's another one right there, this little one right here, I believe they're sculpins. So give me another moment. I'm going to let the tank wake up a little bit. I'm going to get my dip net out and we're going to get them collected up and put them in a pitcher. That way we can just pour them straight in the top. And hopefully by then this fish will be out and about and a little more active. Let's come down here and see if we can't get it to move around a little bit. Its colors are definitely starting to come back. It was really washed out yesterday when we did the intro video. If the glass was clean on the end of the tank, we could actually walk down to the end of the tank and get a side profile of this fish, but apparently that's not going to happen. Alright, give me half a moment. And I'm back. Alright, I got everybody else turned on, all the lights are on. I've given this tank about 5 minutes. I no longer see our little fish, but we're going to go ahead and pour some minnows and even a couple little baby sunfish in there right now. And that's everybody. So here's the 2 little sunfish, both lying low, hiding down in the corners. And then you can see these little tiny ones, I believe, are the ones we just caught. They're definitely a different color. That one's got some white specks on its fin, so I don't know if I just brought ick into the tank or not. That's quite possible. So everybody is going to be on edge for a while, especially since the tank just got rearranged. I noticed yesterday that I was getting some serious aggression. The new fish was chasing the little warmouth. The Mayan cichlid was being chased by the tilapia. and everybody was just sort of on edge, and the whole tank just seemed to have a very different feel to it. So that's probably going to be the case for a little while. I don't know if that just came out on camera, but a little fish just darted right smack into that crayfish's face and actually scared the crayfish. Now there's our little fish. So I honestly do not remember whether I have revealed this or not. Oh, look at this. We've already got some of the minnows trying to eat one of these little minnows. Look at that. So it's definitely, every time I try to get it on film, they keep going up and down. And now that I've got a good look at it, we're not going to see it anymore. Those minnows were actually grabbing a hold of that dying fish there and trying to swallow it. So we're definitely going to see some more interesting stuff happening here in the tank. And as I was getting ready to say, I don't know if I've yet revealed the name. I honestly don't. I've shot so many segments for this video that haven't turned out and that I've decided not to use. If I have not yet named the fish, I will do so now. We have a smallmouth bass in the tank. See, every time this dying minnow gets anywhere near, I don't even know where it went now, these larger minnows are grabbing it and they're trying to eat it. So I find that really interesting. So here's this wounded minnow. I don't know if it's the shock of being put in the tank or if it got struck at by a fish once it went in. But the minnows are actually trying to eat that. It's just a little too big for them. So I find that really interesting. Look, here's another one, and the minnows are trying to eat it. So we have a smallmouth bass in the tank now. There it is back there. It's a very little smallmouth bass, but it is a smallmouth bass nonetheless. And they're kind of like dogs. They don't know that they're small. So even though this is a very young one, it will try to eat fish that it wants to eat, whether they're too small or not. They're really, really aggressive. They're huge eaters. And we're just going to have to see how this one plays out. It was a really spur-of-the-moment thing. I was fishing at a friend's pond and pulled that little guy out. And I thought, you know what, that's perfect size for the tank. So I threw it in the bucket and brought it home. And now we've got a smallmouth bass in the tank. I can always, just take it out and take it back and, put it right back in the same pond I got it out of. That's not a big deal. Getting it out of the tank might be a little bit of a big deal, but it's not that big of a deal. It's something that can be done. But I was looking to make some changes. I wanted to do some different stuff with this tank, and I think this is going to be a good way to start moving forward. And who knows, as time goes on, we might grow to really like this bass, and this might become the inhabitant of the tank, because I could keep this one for several years before it outgrew the tank. So who knows? Like I said, this tank is always up for change and new things happening. So I was expecting a little more excitement than that, but you never know what you're going to get when you're dealing with wild animals like this. Again, the lights just came on first thing in the morning. That fish itself has only been in the tank for less than 2 full days now, so it hasn't even settled in yet. It might not even have its appetite back. It might be just chasing fish out of aggression because it's scared right now, rather than hunting. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But anyway you slice it, we've got a smallmouth bass in the tank now, so things should get pretty interesting. A smallmouth, a Mayan cichlid, a warmouth, and a tilapia are all in the same tank with crayfish and lots of minnows. So that is a recipe for some interesting stuff happening. Definitely a recipe for some drama. So thanks for watching. However long this wound up being, I guess you knew that going into it because you could see the time, even though at this point in the world I do not have any idea how long this video was. But thanks for watching it anyway. I hope you enjoyed it, and make sure you're subscribed and you won't miss any more. Don't forget, this is my native tank, and I'll see you real soon on the next one.